I'm excited to welcome to the show Jill Davis, the manager of the Centralized Lending Division at Nova Home Loans. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you, Jody.
Now, you have a very interesting job. Why don't you tell me and the folks at home a little more about it?
Our department is licensed in every state that Nova's licensed in. Currently, that's 12 states. So we do loans in all those 12 states, and if other Nova loan officers have a client that's moving to one of those states or needs to buy a home in another state, like a vacation home, or they want to refinance a property they already own, then they refer the loan to me, we keep it at Nova, and we service the client.
And I think that's really important. There's a lot of folks out there that may have a home here, a home in Texas, Colorado maybe. Instead of having to go to different representatives and different companies, they can go directly to you and you can actually handle all their business for them. Is that right?
That's right.
So it definitely is a convenient thing for the client.
Yes, and especially if the client is here locally, they're dealing with somebody locally, even if the property's somewhere else. And we've done enough loans in the other states that we know the ins and outs of each state's particular rules and guidelines.
Speaking of rules and guidelines, there's something that I don't really know a lot about, but I know that you do, and that's jumbo loans. Can you tell us more about that?
Sure. A jumbo loan is a loan size that's over $417,000. Nationwide, that's the limit for a conforming loan. So once you're over that limit, the loan is considered a jumbo. The jumbos are a little bit unique because they have larger down payment requirements. Okay. Credit score requirements are a little stricter, as well as qualifying ratios.
Does it usually take longer to be able to qualify for something like that?
Pretty much the same as any other loan. Often the underwriting period is a little bit longer just because there are additional restrictions and guidelines, but otherwise it's like any other loan that we do.
Now, you have been in the mortgage industry for a while. Tell me about, why you got into this industry, what you enjoy about it, and Nova Home Loans.
Well, I've been at Nova for 8 years,
okay,
but I've been in the industry for almost 30. Started as a processor back in the 80s. I've done processing, I've done closing, I've done managing, but the thing that I enjoy the most is helping people. It's
okay,
very exciting when you can get someone into their first home that they didn't know that they could buy. Or maybe someone is upgrading a home to something they need, larger, additional family members now, or maybe they're moving and didn't know if they would be able to afford to buy in a new place because of changing jobs or whatever. So my biggest excitement is just helping people, or even when you're refinancing and they're combining debt to lower their overall monthly outgo or reduce
right,
their mortgage payment, whatever the reason, when you see that smile on your client's face because you've been able to help them when they didn't think they could get help, it's very satisfying.
And we were talking before the interview, and I know that you care a lot about your clients. Sometimes we can get in a situation where we're house poor.
Right.
And I know you sometimes have to have the conversation with your clients, giving the best and worst case scenarios. Tell me, what is something that people should think about during that process?
Well, when you're pre-qualifying, you need to know not just how much of a payment you can afford or how much you can get qualified for, but what is comfortable for you. Mm-hmm. If you've been renting for a long time and you're used to making, say, a rent payment of $1,200 a month, and now you want to buy this house that you've fallen in love with, but the payment's going to be $2,000 a month,
sure,
that's a pretty big shock to your budget. Now, some people, it's not a problem, but others, they may find that that is just too difficult to make, and then you become what we call house poor.
Right.
So you want to take those things into consideration. So most loan officers will let someone know, okay, here's the maximum amount you can qualify for, but if you're comfortable making a payment, say maybe between $1,200 and $1,500, here's where you need to buy at.
And that's always really good information, because sometimes we get so excited about a certain house that we don't think of what could happen down the road and what kind of stresses that may put on our budget.
Right.
So tell the folks at home, how they can get in touch with you, so that you can help them get into that house here in Tucson, or say Texas or Colorado, or wherever the case might be.
Well, they can always go to our website, which is www.novacld for centralizedlendingdivision.com, or my direct line is 520-202-4513.
Well, thank you for all the great information, and I am excited to know that if I buy a house back with my parents in Texas, that I can call you and you can help me with that. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you, Jody.